responsibility. In this video I will show you a multi-power tool that can pretty much do everything, and it will help you in your music production career journey. Meet the Ableton Saturator. Now Ableton has a lot of free VSTs and they're all pretty powerful. Here's a clip of a dude recreating the Oxford Inflator, regarded as one of the best mixing tools, with just the Saturator and Ableton's utility plugin. And the funny thing that the Oxford Inflator lacks is soft clipping, which I will be going a little bit in depth about. So basically the Saturator with soft clip is like a compressor, limiter, saturator all in one. You can use this in pretty much everything to bring out the volume without adding decibels. Why is this important? Because if you want to achieve a clean loud master, you need a few instances of saturation to bring a few frequencies from the root note. And why is that important? Because not everyone has a hi-fi sound system with a gold cable that's like old as hell, that's just broken for some extra sauce costing 10k just for the cables. These phone speakers are as bare minimum as it gets, and it's probably the only way someone is gonna listen to your song the first time, unless they are a music producer, but even they got a laptop with dookie speakers. Now what I like about the Saturator is that it's very simple. You only got a couple of options to choose from and they're all pretty great for sound design. If you're going for a more aggressive tone, you can do that. If you're going for clean, you can do that as well. I use the soft sine option the most because I said in the beginning, it's like the Oxford Inflator, aka very famous mastering plugin. Now in most instances you don't want to overuse the saturation drive too crazy. General rule of thumb is to bring down the output gain as you add in drive, because later on you will be compressing the sound and adding makeup gain. Here's an example. Can you hear the difference? It's a little bit more louder and you didn't affect the master outputs that much, just a vibe for your ears to pick up. If you're making EDM, then this is a must-use tool, and if you're making hip-hop or trap, this is the only tool you will use. Now what the Saturator lacks is a bit of dynamic control. Now you ask yourself, what are dynamics? Basically the intensity of loudness that a clip or sample generates, but dynamics is more of how quiet the sample gets. So there's two important things, the attack and the release. The main transient is the attack, and the release sound is, well, release. Now the Saturator just brick walls it, so you need to use compressors to get a more well-rounded sound. Very important note, if you're mixing drums or bass, the attacks needs to be slow. An example, I don't want this attack to hit at 0.1 milliseconds. Why? Because you lose the initial punch that they create. Being that they're in the rhythm section, you need to hear the beat, right? Because if you have a guitar that has a pretty slow attack, it's most likely a lead, aka the main sound of the beat / track. But if you have the drums and the bass with the guitar with the max transient output, they will battle to the death on who keeps their spot in the mix. You really don't want this. If you're having trouble with what sound to bring out, that's where the Saturator comes along. It's very important to stage your plugins in the right order. You don't want the Saturator to come after the compression, because then all you did with the compressor is basically useless, because the Saturator will just brick wall it. Use the Saturator then the compressor so you can configure will it be a pad, a lead, a drum, bass, etc, etc. You get the gist of it. Let's make a quick beat just abusing the Saturator. Now I didn't want to overcomplicate anything, so I just added already made loops and mixed them, just to show you the value you can gain with the Saturator. The beat consists of a melody loop, drums and an 808. As you can see, there are only 6 sounds in total. Here's the melody unmixed. I added the Saturator with soft sine without touching the gain knob, and the glue compressor with a fast attack, so it can pick up some attacking transients. With the main track at minus 10 decibels, I'd say this is pretty loud. Now the drums, I grouped all 3 samples consisting of the kick, snare and hi-hat loop. Kicks at 3 dBs, hi-hats around 8 dBs, snare near the kick at around minus 6. So basically everything is mixed basically the same, with the Saturator's drive and the outputs like equal minus. And the glue compressor, either I wanted to the transients to hit or not, so I added like the slow attacks on everything. The hi-hats are a bit unusual because I added hella drive with the medium curve option, but I cut out the lows with the EQ. Now the snare and this perk sound, basically just the Saturator at 2.6 and output also minus somewhere over there. The 808 is a bit more aggressively mixed, but I added this EQ to cut out the lows so the Saturator can get more work done, like for the lows, so it can pop out harder, I guess. But the attack on the glue compressor, very slow. As you can see at 30 milliseconds, because I want the 808 to hit. This is how they sound, the drum with the 808. And the melody. Now I added a cool effect to this melody. It's kind of wonky, but I will show you this parameter first, just so you can see how loud it is. I brought the whole track at minus 6 decibels. Now look, it adds a bit character. It's very cool. Now that's the whole beat.